and welcome to episode 156 of the Giddy Knits podcast. As always, I am Helen and I am coming to you from Dundee in Scotland, and this is where I get to talk about all the crafts that I have been working on since the last episode, which was a month ago, I have to admit. It has just been just over a month. It wasn't intentional. I had intended to podcast sooner, but April was just incredibly busy in terms of family things, and just, yeah, everything seems busy this year. I'm blaming it entirely on having a child in the last year of primary school, and yeah, that's my excuse. I didn't anticipate quite how much that entails. But anyway, so yeah, I'm so sorry for disappearing in terms of the podcast. But you have had a few other videos, I think, up on YouTube. So hopefully that has kind of satisfied your need to watch me. But I do have a fair amount of progress to share. And I want to start by obviously just saying hello and welcome to all of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for coming and checking out the video, as you always do. I greatly appreciate your support and you being here. If you haven't and you would like to, and you like my videos, then please make sure that you do hit that thumbs up down at the bottom. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then that is always nice as well. To anyone that is new and checking out the video, then I recommend you do those things as well. But also, welcome and thank you for coming and checking out the video. If you don't know who I am, as I said, I am Helen, and I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns, which is an indie dyed yarn business here in Dundee. So yes, welcome. I record from my studio. So this is Stash Yarn. I have a studio on a small industrial estate just on the outskirts of Dundee, which is where I run my business from nowadays. And that is where you see me when I am generally, most of the videos that I record, that is where you will see me and where my setup is. But I mention the studio because I've been at the studio for just over a year now. So I am planning sometime in the next month to hopefully get a video recorded, which is a little kind of rundown of the studio and how the last year has been, how I found having a studio, the kind of perks of it, the benefits of it, but also some of the cons of it, because there are a few cons that I've experienced, I will say that. So yeah, keep an eye out because that video will be coming very soon. But also for anyone that's new and looks at this setup and is like, oh, she's got a lot of yarn in her house. It's not, it's stock. It's stock yarn. I do have a fair amount of yarn in my house, but it's not as beautifully displayed as this is. Anyway, shall we get on with it? What have I got for you in this episode? We're going to start, as always, with a little announcement section. I do have some winners to announce for one of our Makealongs, and I've also got a lot of Makealongs to remind you of gently. And then I have got a couple of finished objects to share with you. Then we'll move on to my What's in the Basket section, which is where I talk about all of my current whips and the things that I'm kind of actively working on, because there are more whips hidden away in cupboards at home, but these are the ones that are currently getting some love. And then we've got a little bit of Yarny Goodness that's come in, and we will finish off, as we always do at the end of the video, with a little bit of shop news, where I just talk about like what's upcoming, what's new and upcoming for Giddy Yarns. So let's start with announcements. Now, we do have a lot of Makealongs running at the moment. They will all be linked underneath the video with the full details of where you can enter, what you need in terms of rules, and all of that kind of stuff. So I will just mention them briefly, otherwise we could spend 10 minutes talking about them, and most of you will already know about them. But we have got my ongoing Makealong, which is the Giddy Yarns Makealong, which is any project that you finish that uses at least 50% of my yarn, and I draw prizes quarterly for that one. We have then got my Bingo Crafting Challenge, which is the second year we are running this Makealong. It is a year-long Makealong where you create yourself a bingo board of 9 challenges that you would like to set yourself in terms of your crafting life for the year, and you try and complete those challenges throughout the year. We have a lovely chatter thread over on Discord, which is really, really active for that. So if you're not already part of my Discord group, I highly recommend it. It is a really lovely kind of community group over there. And again, links will be underneath the video. And then I've got 2 make-alongs that I am running, co-hosting with other YouTubers. So we have got our Friends That Grimble Together make-along, which I am co-hosting with Laura of The Lonely Knitter on YouTube and also Folk Yarn Studios on Instagram. And we are trying to knit 8 gnomes from the Imagined Landscapes Gnomes by Sarah Shearer. That's just a really, really fun knit along. You don't need to knit 8, but every gnome you knit and enter into the threads to win prizes will count towards the chance of you winning a prize, basically. And I do believe we are supposed to be doing a prize draw at the end of May. I must drop Laura a message and just double check what our plans are with that one. So that is that one. And then the other make-along that I am currently co-hosting is with Fran of Franny Do Makes, and we are co-hosting for the 2nd year the Spring Shawl-a-thon. So any shawl or scarf or thing that you can wrap around your neck, basically, is eligible to enter. You need to have cast on after the 1st of April because that was the start date. And the make-along runs until the end of June, but you don't need to finish your shawl. Just come and chatter about it in our chatter threads, and that will count as entries towards the make-along. The point of this is just to have fun, just to get those shawls started. If you don't finish it, you don't finish it. It doesn't matter. There's no big pressure on you for that one. But yeah, that is all the make-alongs. As I said, full details of them all will be underneath the video. So check that out rather than me going through it all for 10 minutes. But I do have a couple of little admin-y bits around make-alongs, and the first thing is to announce some prize winners for the Q1 of the Giddy Yarns make-along. I should have got this done on the last podcast, but I just I hadn't quite prepared myself and I hadn't drawn the names, but I have sat down and done that now. I've gone through the Discord thread and the Ravelry thread. There were only, I think, 4 entries in the Ravelry thread, but there were 35 entries in the Discord thread. So I went through and drew a random number generator to pick 2 winners. So the first winner was Ravens Rock Knits, who is Teresa. And then the second winner was Fran of Franny Do Makes. So congratulations to both of you. If you get in touch with me, either drop me an email or a message on any of the platforms that we have messaging systems, and I will work out what you want to do with your prize. Generally for the Giddy Yarns make-along, I will either offer you can pick a skein of yarn from the shop, or I can give you a gift card for the value of a skein of yarn from the shop, and you can spend it at your leisure in the future. So yeah, get in touch with me for that one. So that is that one. The next prize draw for that make-along will be at the end of June. Ooh, along with our Spring Shawl-a-thon. That'll be a bumper episode, won't it? Lots of prizes going out then. So yeah, that is that one. Talking of prizes and the Spring Shawl-a-thon, I do have a couple of lovely prizes to share that were recently sent to me. Now, these have come from Foxy Yarn Hand-Dyed, these have come from Foxy Yarn. You can find Foxy Yarn as Foxy Yarn Hand-Dyed on Instagram or the Foxy Yarn shop on Etsy. And she has sent 2 beautiful skeins of yarn on her sock yarn base. It is really, really soft. So this is Glinda. That is the first skein. It's gorgeous pink with some lovely, really subtle green speckles in there. And then she has also sent a skein of Crocus, which is this one here, a really pretty lilac. Come on camera, focus on it. It's beautiful. A really pretty lilac, again, with some kind of yellowy speckles in there that really makes me think about crocuses. And this is her lovely logo there as well. So when you look her up on Instagram, you'll recognise the account. So thank you so much for those. I am always, always grateful to makers who donate prizes for our make-alongs, because it's always so nice to be able to give more than just my yarn. And not that I mind giving my yarn, but you know what I mean. It's nice to have more prizes to give away because you all deserve it. So there we go. That was very, very kindly gifted by Lou. Thank you very much. Right. That is all of the admin, I think. I hope. I think I've remembered everything. Maybe there's a Makealong I've forgotten about hanging around in the background. There's quite a lot of them running this year. I'm surprised I'm keeping up with them, to be honest. Let's move on, I think, to finished objects. Our first finished object, unsurprisingly, is a gnome. I have finished my Professor Fungi gnome. Now, Professor Fungi was the April mystery knit-along from Sarah at Imagined Landscapes. She has now revealed the gnome on social media, so it is no longer a mystery. But here he is. I'm so happy with him. He was such a fun gnome to knit because you knit him slightly differently to a lot of other gnomes. He's knit from the bottom up instead of knitting the hat and then the body. So there were lots of different techniques, lots of different little elements to him that were really, really fun. And he's just such a cute gnome, isn't he? He has got this lovely kind of stitch pattern around his body. He's got a little basket in his hands. I'm trying to keep my face hidden, but also be able to see what you can see. He has got this lovely crinkly beard, which is super fun to knit. And then this hat is just genius. The way it's knit is really clever. The way it's assembled is really clever to be able to get that shape as well. You've got the proper like mushroom feel of the texture underneath here, which is really, really clever. And then of course that domed hat is just brilliant. So I am so happy with this gnome and really impressed with the pattern. I think it might be one of my favourite gnomes from Sarah so far. And considering how many I have knit, that is a big thing to say. So yeah, that is my Professor Fungi. I knit him using one of my own yarn kits. So this was the Amethyst yarn kit, which was designed specifically with this gnome in mind. So I had a sneak peek at Professor Fungi before I dyed up the kits. So I was able to dye yarn with that in mind. And I'm really, really happy with how it worked and how it came out. I will be restocking these kits hopefully in June because I know I've had a couple of people ask, but I'm planning on restocking them for the Wool Monty, which is a yarn show in Sheffield that I am vending at in the beginning of June. I think it's the first weekend in June. So there will be some going online after that. So yeah, that is Professor Fungi, our first finished object of the episode. I do have another finished object and I am so pleased with this one. Not that I'm not pleased with Professor Fungi, I'm extremely pleased with Professor Fungi, but this one has been a long time coming. I finished my cross stitch. I finished the Winter Wonderland cross stitch from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I'm just kind of trying to get the creases out a little bit. I probably should have ironed it, but here it is in all its glory. I am so pleased with how it came out. I am so pleased to have it done. Because this has been on the go for a fair while now, we will admit. But I feel like this year I've really kind of picked back up on my cross stitch kind of mojo, I guess. So I've really been enjoying cross stitch again. I've really been kind of reaching for it a lot more regularly. So I'm hoping that is a sign that there is going to be more cross stitches finished and started and finished and started in the future. But yes, this one was so much fun. And I'm really pleased that it is all finished now. I have got about 4 finished cross stitches that I need to actually just work out frames for because they're just sitting in a bag being finished and I haven't sorted out frames for them. So I keep saying to my husband, oh, can we sit down at some point? And I don't know why I need him to help me. I probably don't, but I think I just need that like body double of somebody to sit down and make me actually get it done. So we are going to sit down at some point and work out frames for the 4 different cross stitches that I've got. I think a couple of them are going to come to the studio and get put up here as kind of decorative on the wall. And then a couple of them, I've got plans for them to go up at home. But this one I think will be one that I probably pop it in a frame and it gets put away with the Christmas decorations, and then every year we will bring it out during December and put it up with the rest of our Christmas decorations. We will find a little spot for it. We'll probably just take down another picture that isn't particularly seasonal and put that one up in its place. but I will give you a little close-up. I love these little skiing figures over here. They are super fun. I love all the little festive Christmas buildings, the little market going on over there. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the snowman and the post box. I thought that was really cute little addition at the bottom. I love the fact that it kind of looks like the snowman is juggling. But yeah, and then you've got the ice skaters on the ice rink in the middle with the Christmas tree. So yeah, lots of fun little elements, and I really, really enjoyed working on this one. I have chosen another one, but we will talk about that one in what's in the basket. Although, having just said that, we're now moving on to what's in the basket because that was all my finished objects. So let's go straight into that, shall we? So I have gone through all of my existing cross stitch patterns and things like that, and picked out the next one that I want to start. I haven't started it yet, and I will need to put a picture on the screen because it's this one here and you can't actually see what it is because it's all blurred. So I will pop a picture on the screen. I have decided to start the Witchy Way cross stitch kit. Again, this is another caterpillar cross stitch. I did look at a couple of the PDF patterns that I have, and I do have a fair few really fun looking PDF patterns, but I didn't have all the threads and the Ada and everything like that that I needed for it. And I didn't want, well, two things. I didn't want the financial kind of outgoing of having to purchase all of that right now, but also I didn't want the effort of having to do that. Whereas these kits come with everything I need to start the project, which is perfect because that is what my brain needs at the moment. So yeah, as you can see, this is a Halloween-y one with lots of different Halloween buildings. I think they're all like little Halloween shops. I can't remember, and I've not looked at the picture again yet. But this was a mystery Halloween Makealong a couple of years ago, I think. So it comes with everything you need. Oh, I forgot I got the needle minder as well. So it comes with the threads all ready on the card for you. There's some great bright colours on here, and that is all ready. It's got a blue Ada fabric. I think it's actually, yeah, it is. It's the same blue as the Winter Wonderland, actually. It's got your needle on there as well. And then I also ordered it with the little magnetic needle minder because I love these. They're so cute. And this one is a ghost, which is going to make me very, very happy. I find these really, really useful for when you're changing threads, just having somewhere safe to kind of stick your needle to quickly. I also actually find it really useful if I'm working on a hoop and I've got like quite a lot of excess fabric that's getting in the way. I often will fold that excess fabric up to a corner and use the magnetic needle minder to kind of hold it in place because they're quite strong magnets. So yeah, that's one of the ways I use it. So this is going to be the next cross stitch on the go. And now that I've picked it up and got it out of the bag, I'm really excited to start it. So I might have to start it soon. Yeah. But as you know, I am a big fan of Caterpillar Cross Stitch and their mystery knit-alongs. This is the third one that I have done because I did the Winter Wonderland one, which obviously I've just finished, and the British Isles one as well, which I finished sometime last year, I think. But yeah, I am a massive fan of them. I really, really enjoy the way they're designed, and I'm excited to get that one started. So let's move away from cross stitch, shall we? Let's move on to what else is in the basket. Do we have a particular order for this, or are we just going to grab stuff? Let's just grab stuff. I do have the basket here. So when we say what's in the basket, if you are new, there is a reason for that, and that is because my active whips live in this basket, down by the side of the sofa next to where I sit, so that I can kind of just pick my project and keep going. So yeah, and I am trying my best to not overfill the basket. I'm trying to rotate things in and out a little bit, but where are we? Right, we will start with this project here. So this is my Sweet Shop blanket, and I am working on this. So it's the Sweet Shop blanket is a pattern by Laura Penrose. It's a really fun knitted blanket, and I am working on it using my Sweet Shop minis, which is my mini yarn club for this year. And I have added January and February. So I am not giving you any spoilers at this point, so don't worry about that. But I have now finished February. I am a bit behind on this, really. So this is how it is coming along. I am really, really enjoying it still. So I didn't want to, so traditionally the blanket uses a white undyed yarn for the contrast colours. I didn't want to do that because I know what I'm like, and I know I will get bored if I do that. I would get bored of the white and doing the undyed bits, and I would stop reaching for it. So I dyed up earlier this year 5 pastel solids, which are available dye to order in the shop if you look at them and go, oh, I really want that pale yellow, or I really want that pale purple. But the plan was for them to work with the Sweet Shop minis every month, so that I could use them in this blanket. And that is what I've done. And I'm really, really happy with it. It's going to be such a pretty blanket when it's done. And so far I have used each colour twice for each, once, each colour once for each month, if that makes sense, because there were 5 pastel colours and there are 5 minis each month. So we have finished this square here, which is kind of a pink and purple speckled in here. We have finished this one here, which was a much different contrast because a lot of the other contrasts have been quite subtle. But in terms of the yellow, I did a pink and yellow for that month. So it still works, it's just a stronger contrast. And then I finished this one here, which was a lovely blue and green mini skein. I'm using 4-ply held double, which is one of the options in the pattern. I think you can also do it in DK, but I love 4-ply held double. I love the way the yarn looks when it's held double, and I just love the way it knits up. So yeah, that one is coming along. Now, on my bingo board, I'm supposed to finish 2 blankets this year. And none of the blankets, despite having, I think, possibly 10 blankets on the go, none of them are probably anywhere near even the 50%. I finished 2 blankets last year, and I think they were the blankets that were the closest to being finished. So if I want any chance of finishing that square on my bingo board, I really need to catch up. I have got March and April's minis that need to be added to this blanket. So I either really need to catch up and keep up with this blanket, or I need to have a look at what blankets I've got so far and maybe put this one on the back burner for a while and bring out another blanket to make some progress on that. But I am really liking this blanket, but if I bring another blanket out, I'm not going to have room in the basket for them all to live. So yes, I am a little bit torn as to what to do regarding blankets this year. My problem is I'm really enjoying this blanket, and I really want to keep working on it because I'm enjoying it so much, but then all the other blankets are getting neglected and they're not going to get any progress made on them unless I work on them. But I did say to myself that when I kind of brought back my basket and trying to keep the basket under wraps, I would only have 1 blanket at a time that I was working on. So I don't know. Maybe I spend the rest of this month trying to catch up with this blanket and then put it aside for a couple of months and bring out a new blanket. I don't know. Decisions about that are hard. But yes. So that is my Sweet Shop blanket and my dilemma. What else do I have? So my entry for our spring shawl-a-thon is the Jig Shawl Puzzle by Stephen West. And I talked about this one last time in that I'm doing it slightly differently to the way it's designed in the pattern. In the pattern, it has lots and lots of different sections. It's a modular shawl made up of lots of different sections, and for each section you use very kind of contrasty, distinct colours. But what I am doing is I am using an advent calendar. I'm trying to get the needles all sorted because it's hard to hold up otherwise. I am using an advent calendar, and I am just knitting to the end of the mini and then changing. So some sections have got multiple colours in them, some sections haven't, but that's just kind of how it's working. The minis are a fade in this one. So we started with kind of greys and browns into oranges, into reds, into pinks, and we're now moving into purples. And I finished just over a third of the shawl so far. So let's hold it up. So here we go. This is where I am. We started at this point here. And then you can kind of see, so you started here and then it went up here and then this section was the next bit and then continued there. Then we had this chevron-y bit here and then into this kind of pink triangle, and that is the kind of left-hand point of the shawl, I guess. It goes kind of this way, so that is the end. That is that end of the shawl, and I'm now working down this way into the purple, and I'm working down into the bottom point of the shawl, and then the final section will be the right hand point of the shawl as well. And again, this is 4-ply held double, so it knits up really quick when I get going on it, and I am really enjoying it. It's a really fun one to do. I love a modular shawl because I'm never working on ridiculously long rows, which is something I can struggle with. So yeah, it's going well. I literally last night finished off this section here, and I'm not 100% sure where I'm going next. I need to check the pattern. I do still have more of this purple though, so whatever section we're moving on to next will continue in this purple. The yarn I'm using is an advent calendar from Henny Penny Makes. I think it's one from 2023, but I'm not sure. So these are the next few colours. So as I said, I've still got some of this one left, and then we're starting to move towards the blues. So yeah, that is where we're going with this one. I'm now into my favourite kind of colours. I will admit, reds and oranges and browns are not my favourite colours. I am not an autumnal person in terms of colour palettes. I'm very much a kind of jewel tones and that kind of thing when it comes to colour palettes. So yeah, but I'm now moving into my favourite colours, so I'm happy. And I'm showing you the back, so you're getting all of the ends that I haven't woven in yet. But yeah, this is coming along well. I am still hopeful that I might get it finished by the end of June for the deadline, which I did manage last year. Last year I knit a Vertices Unite, which is also a pattern by Stephen West, and I did get it finished by the end of our spring shawl-a-thon. So yeah, I feel like I could do if I get my act together. But that is my jig shawl puzzle. If I can get everything back in the bag, try and keep some semblance of order, otherwise podcasting often turns into chaos. Right, next. Right, this one hasn't had a lot of progress on, but we will get it out because I am still trying to work on it. I was really hoping to have it finished, but I've got distracted and sidetracked by other projects, and that is Arthur's cowl, Arthur's scrappy cowl. So I think the last time I recorded, I was just here where my little progress pig is. So I've done 2 colours and I'm now moving on to a 3rd colour. But the part of the reason this hasn't had a lot of work is because I generally work on it during D&D, but which I play with my sister and her fiance. But we haven't had a lot of D&D in the last month because we've all been so busy. So I haven't had that kind of Saturday evening sitting down and playing D&D with something that's just round and round knitting. Hence, this has not had a lot of progress. But I'm hoping we get picked back up with that again soon and I can carry on getting some progress on because I really want to get this done so that I can have some more fun projects on the needles. Right, socks. Let's talk about socks. So, as I said last time, I picked up my opal socks and I haven't done too badly. So I have finished the first sock. I have tried this on, it fits, it's all good. So we have successfully put in an afterthought heel that actually fits. And I now know how many rows I need to do for the foot before I put the toe in, and how many rows to do for the leg, etc., and where to put the heel in, because that was the issue that I had been having in the past. But yeah, we have got one finished sock. I don't have a sock blocker to hand. Because I had a craft day recently, they have all got socks on the sample rail. But it's fine. It's just a sock. You don't need to see it on a sock blocker. It is just a vanilla sock knit out of some lovely opal yarn. And I have cast the second sock on. And I'm not doing too bad. I think I've got past, yes, I have got past the heel. So I've got just past where the heel would be put in. So I am now working along the foot of the sock. I'm going to start putting some little bulb pins in soon to start counting rows so that I can make sure that it is the same length as the other one. And then I will finish this one entirely before I put the heel in. So with the other one, because I was worried about where I was going to put the heel in and getting the heel in right, I knit until I was about halfway down the foot and then I put the heel in. And then I tried the sock on as I was knitting the foot to make sure I got the toe in the right place. But now that we have, in theory, a recipe for where the heel needs to go, I should be able to just knit this one until it's the same length as this one, put the toe in, and then add the heel as an actual afterthought heel. And that is the plan. However, I've got sidetracked and I haven't really been working on these particularly because every year I buy the Handmade Sock Society from Helen Stewart. Every year I buy it, and how many times have I knit those patterns? Very few. So this year, when the first pattern came out at the beginning of May, I saw it and I was like, oh, I have the perfect yarn for that pattern. It's already caked up. It was frogged from a previous project. I am going to cast those socks on. And I am going to do my best this year to knit all of the socks from the Handmade Sock Society. As you know, my sock mojo has been a little bit all over the place the last couple of years, and I'm hoping that this might bring it back. It's either going to make it or break it, isn't it? Either this is going to bring my sock mojo back, or it's going to cement the fact that my mojo has gone out of the window for socks. But we will see. So I cast on the Flourish socks, which are the first pattern in the Handmade Sock Society. And I was very good, and I have cast them on concurrently, 2 at a time, so that I don't end up with second sock syndrome. And I think they're both, okay, the blue one, that doesn't make any sense to you. I've put little stitch markers on, a blue one and a green one, because it is a lace pattern, and I'm keeping track of the pattern by marking off the rows in either blue or green so that I know which sock I am at which point with. So yeah, just a little coloured bulb pin that will mark out that this is the blue sock and the other one is the green sock, and then I can keep track of it. Anyway, as I said, these are the Flourish socks by Helen Stewart, and it is a beautiful lace pattern just on the front of the sock. I haven't had to adapt these too much. Because as you may know, because I talk about this every time I talk about socks that are patterned, I do an odd number of stitches for my socks. I do 68 stitches, which is not a standard stitch count when it comes to sock patterns. A lot of sock patterns are written in 56, 64 and 72 stitches. I just find 68 fits me best. So when I am knitting pattern socks, I often have to either just do the pattern on the front of the leg or kind of just jiggle them a little bit to make them work for me. But this was already just the pattern on the front of the leg, so all I've had to do is just add an extra stitch on either side, so it shouldn't make much of a difference. But it is absolutely beautiful. I'm really enjoying the stitch repeat and the stitch pattern. It's really fun. It's got some interesting stitches in there. And as I said, I had the perfect yarn. This yarn is from Craft House Magic. It was part of her music from the movies a few years ago now, and this one was the Dirty Dancing colourway. So I think it was called You Can't Put Baby in the Corner, or was it? It was I can't remember. It was named after the song, but I've forgotten what the song was. But it was the Dirty Dancing one anyway, and I don't have the yarn band anymore. I thought I had kept it with the yarn, but I hadn't, because these were originally a pair of crunkled socks, but I messed the pattern up and they got frogged. And at some point in that process, the yarn band also disappeared. But yeah, we are I am working on these and I am going to try and get these done by the end of May, or at least before the next pattern comes out. So that is where we're at with both of them at the moment. Obviously the green sock, this will make sense to you now when I refer to them as the blue sock and the green sock. The green sock is shorter and needs a little bit, that'll be the next one I pick up basically. Whenever I pick them up, I pick up the one that has had the least work on it. So yes, that is the Flourish socks. Whether I keep up with this, I don't know, but I am determined to try because it would be really nice to have all of the socks actually knit for once. But we will see. We will see what happens as the patterns come out and as I look at them, and whether I kind of see any of them that I'm not so keen on, or quite what happens. But that is my hopeful goal, is to attempt to knit all 6 of the socks. They do come out once a month. So in theory, I should be able to knit a pair of socks in a month, but you know how sidetracked I get by things. So we will see. Right, what's left in the basket? Oh, there is, sorry for the crinkling, there is yarn behind me. There is one project left in the basket, and I have made some progress on this. So this is my Lento, which is a jumper pattern by Joanna Helen. I can never remember the name. And it is coming along. I don't know why I took the yarn out, because there is, oh no, there is yarn attached. I started the second sleeve. I was sensible. So I sped through the body of this, as you'll know if you are a regular viewer. I sped through the body of this, but I did kind of stall a bit on the sleeves. Mostly because, and I think I talked about this in the last episode, I tend to knit with fixed circulars, and when I knit sleeves I tend to knit with a fixed circular in the 30cm length, and it works really, really well for sleeves. However, they only seem to go up to a size 5.5mm, and this pattern I'm using a 6.5mm for, so I had to magic loop the sleeves, which slowed me down and just slowed me down a bit. However, I have obviously finished the body, but I have finished one sleeve as well. So progress has been made. I finished off the sleeve last night. I had a little frantic, I'm podcasting tomorrow, is there anything I can get? And I finished the last square. I finished the sleeve of this, I finished the last square on my Sweet Shop blanket, and I finished that section on my jigsaw puzzle shawl, and I was like, let's get everything to a good place to show it on the podcast. But yeah, I have finished the first sleeve, and I was good last night, and although I haven't really made any progress on it, I did pick up the second sleeve, so that it is now all ready to just kind of pick up and knit on it, because I thought to myself, if I don't do that, then I'm going to put it off, because every time I go to reach for my knitting, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, oh no, that needs something complicated doing to it, so I won't do that one now. So yeah, I am again having to magic loop it, but it's not the end of the world. It's fine. It just means I'm a little bit slower to do it. But yeah, it's coming on well. The yarn I am using for this one is my own yarn. It is Giddy Yarns in the, so it is Don't Leave the Path, which is this one here, which is one of my Hobbit colourways, and I am holding it with Fern, which is a Surya alpaca fluff, and it is making the most beautiful fabric in the world, and I can't wait to be able to wear this because it is so cozy and so soft. I am hoping to have this done by Wool Monty so that I can wear it, because I have dyed up some Don't Leave the Path, and I will have some Fern with me, because then I will have a lovely sample of my yarn with me, and also a lovely jumper to just wear and be cozy in as well. So yeah, some good Lento progress. Hopefully I will get that sleeve finished before the Wool Monty. That is the plan anyway. Okay, let's move on to some Yarny Goodness. I have had a little bit of Yarny Goodness come in since I last recorded. Nothing exceptional, but the 2 clubs that I am signed up for, try and avoid the crinkling, have arrived. So these are April's clubs. So first off, I am taking part in the Magical Worlds sock club from Laura at The Lonely Knitter, and this is April's colourway, which is inspired by the seas. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm keeping these all aside, and then I think I'm just going to make socks with them, assuming my sock mojo is settled. If my sock mojo, you know, if my sock mojo comes back, then we will be making socks with them. That is the plan. But yeah, that is the C's, which is absolutely stunning. Again, totally my colours. The blues are just beautiful. So that was that one. And then the other thing that has arrived is my chai latte minis from Hannah at Chromatic Yarns, which are these ones here for April. Super, super pretty. I have made a decision about what I'm going to do with these. I think I might have talked about it on the last episode, I'm not sure. But my plan is to make granny squares out of each trio. So each month you get 3 minis, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a granny square out of each one. So I'm just going to pick one of the colours to start with, and I'm just going to go out and then just, you know, use the 3 colours to make a big granny square. And then I'm going to join those granny squares together into a blanket. I haven't decided yet whether I might hold the yarn double and make it like a DK weight. I think I might do that because I feel like otherwise it's going to be enormous. Whereas if I hold it double and do a DK weight, the blanket will be slightly smaller, and it will knit up or crochet up slightly quicker as well. But I still think I'll get a fairly decent sized granny square out of, well, I know I will because I've made granny squares out of 20 gram minis held double before. So I'll still get a decent sized granny square out of each trio of minis, but it will work up slightly quicker. So yeah, that is the plan. But yes, those are the beautiful ones from April. I am so excited to see May's because they are dragon themed, and yeah, it's a really fun little kind of yarn club. Technically it's not a yarn club. The chai latte minis are a tier on Hannah's Patreon, but it works the same way as a yarn club really. So yeah, that is all the Yarny goodness that has come in the last month, because it really been a month since I last recorded? Anyway, we are on to the last section of the video, and that is, of course, shock news. Now, I have a couple of things to talk about, and we're going to start with Advent. Now, I've obviously already talked about this on social media. You will have seen stuff on Instagram, and I did put out a video last week, I think, where I talked specifically about advent calendars, but in case you haven't seen those, I will briefly mention it now. My advent calendar this year, here is my mood board, is inspired by Little Women, as is tradition so far. Well, certainly over the last 5 years, maybe? Something like that. I have done advent calendars based on books, and I usually include a read-along element, and this year is no different. So this year's advent will be inspired by the novel Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is my mood board. So I am very much thinking dusky pastels. And if you want to know what that means, if you want some more specific examples of that, then check out the video that I did put up last week. I will make sure I try and link it underneath the video. I might even try and do the clever thing where I put a thingy above the video that you can click on. I don't know. But yeah, this is my advent calendar. It is available in 10 gram and 20 gram minis across most of my mini bases. So I'm doing merino nylon 4-ply, merino nylon DK, sparkle 4-ply and sparkle DK as well. Various 10 gram and 20 gram options among those bases. You can also choose to add a 100 gram skein or a sock set for Christmas Day. That is an option, and pre-orders are open at the moment. I'm hoping to keep them open until the end of May, but I am sitting at just over 80% capacity at the moment. So depending on how orders come in over the next kind of week or so, I might need to close them a little bit early, but we will see how we go. I do offer a payment plan. Again, all the details about the payment plan can be found in the listing on my website, but also in the specific Advent video that I recorded last week. So yeah, I do ship internationally. I can ship to the EU. I am GPSR registered or compliant or whatever the words are. I paid the money and I did the stuff. So I can ship to the EU and Northern Ireland. And in terms of America and the tariffs and everything like that, none of the items in the box come from China, which I know is one of the bigger issues. None of the items in the Advent are created in China. They are all made in the UK. And I'm pretty sure the de minimis ruling still applies. So as long as you're not spending over $800, which I assume you won't be, because I'm pretty sure I couldn't ship that amount of yarn to America easily, and I don't think my website would allow me to. Anyway, then you should be fine. And you shouldn't get charged. But double check that before you double check that. But I'm 90% sure that is the case. Anyway, that is Advent. That is the mood board. And yeah, they are available now on my website. All the details can be found in the listing. And there is also the Advent video that I talk about the Advent in a lot more detail and share examples of what I mean when I'm talking about dusky pastels and also gently variegated colourways and what I mean in terms of what you can expect from the Advent calendar this year. So that is all those details. And then I have got a shop update happening on Friday the 16th of May at 7:30 p.m. British summertime, because we are in British summertime now. I have got just a little spring update happening. So I've got 3 brand new sock sets coming to the shop, as well as a gnome kit and one of the colours from those sock sets in another base. So we will start with this one here. So this is Bluebell Glen, a lovely mix of greens and purples. I'm really happy with how this one came out. I'm happy with how all of them came out, to be honest, but this one was really pretty. I wanted a combination of greens and purples. I love that kind of bluebelly woods kind of combination. So that is Bluebell Glen. These will be available in 120 gram sock sets like this, and also in 70 gram sock sets as well. I've just not grabbed any 70 gram ones to show you because they look the same, just smaller. And then we have another colourway. This is Fool's Spring. And this one is kind of a mix of pastels with some speckles. It's got kind of greens and yellows and oranges and pinks and all kinds of colours in this one. And it's paired with a pale yellow mini skein. So that one is Fool's Spring. Again, 120 grams and 70 grams. And then finally, we have Wildflower Meadow, which is this one here. Now, this was my favourite colourway from the 3 that I dyed, so I've done more with this colourway. So we have got it available in 120 gram and 70 gram sock sets like this. But I have also dyed it up as some gnome kits because I thought it was about time there was a fresh gnome kit in the shop, considering the amount of gnomes that people are knitting this year. So I have done a Wildflower Meadow gnome kit. So you get a mini of Wildflower Meadow, and then I've paired it with a purple and a green mini. These are kind of what I call my subtly speckled minis. So they're a solid, well, a tonal, I guess, really, but they have got speckles of the same colour over top of them. So there are some speckles of green in the green one and some speckles of purple on the purple one. But yeah, that is the Wildflower Meadow gnome kit. I have got some on sparkle as well, in case you want sparkly gnomes, because who doesn't love a sparkly gnome? And then I couldn't resist dyeing up Wildflower Meadow on some 4-ply boucle. Because this base is gorgeous. I have got 3 skeins of it caked up, not this colourway, I've got 3 skeins of my City Nights colourway on 4-ply boucle, caked up, ready to start a Tolster tank as soon as I finished my Lento, because it is just the loveliest base. But I had some boucle undyed in stock, and I thought, why not? I'm going to dye up some of Wildflower Meadow on boucle and see if anyone likes it as much as me. So yeah, that is everything that is going into the shop update on Friday. It will be a ready to ship update, so it's very much kind of what's available at the time, if that makes sense. If it proves ridiculously popular though, I will try and re-dye some of it and get it up in the shop. But I am in the middle of prepping for Wool Monty at the beginning of June, so it may not be an immediate thing. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Anyway, I think that's everything that I had to talk to you about this week. I will try and be back in my 2-week normal schedule with the next podcast, hopefully. But thank you as always for watching. And if you have got to the end of this video, why not leave me a wildflower, some kind of flower emoji for the Wildflower Meadow colourway. Leave me a flower emoji in the comments, and I will see you all very soon on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.